Developer Housemarque makes games that demand things from you. Returnal demanded your time, your patience, and if we're being honest, a little piece of your sanity. Trophy data tells us that fewer than 1 in 5 players ever finished it. And for those who did, the payoff was unlike anything else on the PS5. Saros is Returnal's spiritual successor. Same DNA, same bullet-ballet, same theme of existential science fiction. But Housemarque has done something different with Saros. They've made the door a lot wider. Whether you loved Returnal and beat it, or couldn't beat it and walked away, Saros has something for you. I reviewed Saros on the base OG PS5 with over 30 hours of game time, and while it's my current Game of the Year contender, I'll tell you exactly why it isn't perfect. Before we dive in, check out my hands-on preview linked below as a companion to this one, and if you enjoy honest reviews, a like and subscribe helps more than you know. Let's talk visuals and performance. In my preview, I said Saros' creative direction pulls you in, and this still holds up. Where most of Returnal's levels were dark and claustrophobic, Saros' environments are wider, brighter, and more inviting. Even in its second cavernous biome, you're not tripping over traps in tight corridors the same way. To say Saros looks like Returnal with a bigger budget would be reductive, but in creature design and environmental detail, it all feels very familiar, and it all looks better here. Textures are sharp, the world is dense, and when the action gets chaotic, performance holds. Not a single significant dip, stutter, or crash in my entire review period. Although I did encounter a mini-boss that got stuck in the environment, and 2 areas where health dropped in places I couldn't pick up. Like Returnal, Saros is a PS5 showpiece. Fast loading, 60 FPS, Tempest 3D audio, DualSense haptics, tasteful controller speaker implementation, and adaptive triggers that are woven into gunplay. The soundtrack doesn't hit you over the head the same way the recent Doom trilogy does, but that restraint is the point. Dark, electronic drone metal. Composer Sam Slater delivers something that serves the ebb and flow of the action rather than competing with it. As a spiritual successor to Returnal, both games share common themes. Housemarque has always been interested in the same question. What if the real horror wasn't out there, but in you? Saros, at its core, is about the cost of loss and guilt. Arjun Devraj isn't just a Soltari enforcer on an interplanetary expedition for resources. He's a man searching for someone he's lost, on a planet that seems designed to break him, surrounded by a crew losing their grip on reality. Returnal walked a similar line, with Celine trapped in a loop on Atropos, an alien world that was never really alien at all, but a manifestation of her own unresolved grief. This reminds me of the 1997 film Event Horizon, which follows a rescue crew sent to recover a lost ship. What they find is a vessel that has learned to feed on guilt. The eclipse in Saros seems to work the same way. I really appreciate that Saros does more for the story over Returnal. More cutscenes and dialogues with NPCs all help to anchor the story and push the narrative forward. However, the pacing can feel a little rushed, especially in the first act. Perhaps it makes sense in the context of the universe as time moves differently on Carcosa, but with each run I took, it seemed the crew's descent into madness rapidly accelerated.
You're out there doing who knows what with no oversight. How do you think that makes me look?
And while there are a couple of twists to look forward to, I personally could spot them coming a mile away. While I found the story to be a surprise highlight, let's be real, the story is not why we love a Housemarque game. I'm happy to report controls are tight and intuitive, and more responsive than what I felt in my 3-hour preview. Housemarque's gameplay-first philosophy carries straight over from Returnal. It's twitchy, vertical, movement-heavy, flow-state combat. You enter a combat space, enemies spawn in waves, filling the screen with projectiles. No cover, just spatial awareness, timing, and reading patterns. There's a musical cadence to encounters. You're timing jumps and dodges, firing in between gaps. Housemarque calls it bullet-ballet, and like any dance, some of it lasts a few minutes, some of it lasts seconds. Take weapons. Depending on the type and variant, how it fires and reloads will shape the rhythm of your inputs. This shotgun, for example, if you land an active reload, your next trigger pull empties the entire magazine instead of a single shot. Get into a rhythm and your damage per second spikes immediately. This makes each weapon variant a treat to discover and learn. When you find one that just clicks with you, you become one with it. So it's a good thing that even when you die, unlike Returnal, you return with the same weapon. These are just one of the many ways Saros is attempting to be more welcoming to players. Instead of Returnal's single, unrelenting difficulty, where death resets your entire run, your weapons, and your upgrades, Saros introduces mechanics that let you shape the experience. First major difference is the second chance mechanic, which does what exactly it says. On death, you are revived one more time, given a little bit of health and a second chance to finish your run. Second, the Eclipse, the mechanic that's woven into the environment. As you unlock biomes from mountainous, subterranean, swampy, and others I won't spoil, activating an Eclipse changes the biome. Enemies are deadlier. Environments are more hostile. Environmental hazards appear where they didn't before, but the Eclipse also unlocks areas, items, and artifacts that simply aren't accessible without it. More powerful buffs, but also meaningful penalties. It must be activated at some point in every biome to progress. In some, you choose whether to trigger it at the start or towards the back half of the level. Alongside the Eclipse, Carcosan modifiers let you tweak specific conditions before a run. Adjusting damage taken or dealt, disabling the second chance mechanic, or refilling health before a boss encounter. Do you want to farm resources, hunt collectibles, mainline straight to the Overlord? I found customizing modifiers for different runs yielded the best results. This is all underpinned by a skill tree with persistent upgrades, meaning even a bad run isn't wasted time. Head back to base, invest your resources into more health, power, or resources gained, and you will literally come back stronger. And that philosophy is clearly a direct response to Returnal. Fewer than 1 in 5 players ever finished that game. Saros means to change that and bring more people through the door and keep them there. But this is also where I have to be honest about the trade-off. Returnal's brutal difficulty was the point. It was an aspirational goal that required mastery, even if it did come with a lot of frustration. Still, when I finally beat it, it meant something. Like Celine, who faced an impossible task, I got better and I overcame. It actually was an achievement not many experienced. With Saros, I rolled credits on Act 3 after 18 hours and finished the epilogue shortly after. Essentially a long weekend. For context, it took me about the same amount of time just to get past Returnal's first boss, and roughly a month to complete the game. Look, Saros is an amazing game, but in the pursuit of accessibility, it has lost that one thing, that cherry on top, that made Returnal stick with me the way it did. Saros is Returnal's spiritual successor, with the same DNA, but its sharpest edges intentionally filed down. Returnal was Mount Everest, while Saros was a challenging hike. It's safe to say that most players will welcome these changes, and I'm genuinely excited for them to finally experience what they missed in Returnal. Saros earns that second chance. Ultimately, Saros is a game that fires on all cylinders. Tight gameplay, sharp visuals, textured audio, and a narrative genuinely steeped in symbolism. That's why I believe Saros is near perfect and is absolutely worth it. Don't forget, we'll have more Saros tips, guides, and playthroughs at launch. Check out the hands-on preview for even more context. And if Saros speaks to you, you might also love our Witchfire Early Access review. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Saros, Returnal, and difficulty in games. Let us know your thoughts below, and I'll see you in the next one.